Seeing music. At Vic in Catalonia, the Jazz Cava Club regularly welcomes top-tier drummer David Viñolas.
Me considero un gran melómano, ¿no? Luego tengo esa
I
doble
consider myself a great music lover.
intérprete y la de
I play the double role, you might say, of performer and of listener.
consumir música en directo como
At times I engage with music directly
de música
by making it, and at other times I engage indirectly by consuming it, by listening to recordings, by reading and learning.
por decirlo de alguna
I think that
forma,
music
pues,
has this
¿no?
cohesive power, that's one way to put it, that it can help us to break down the walls that separate
Quizá,
us.
pues, es más fácil
And perhaps it's easier for a seeing person to come up to you and say hi to you simply because they saw you playing the drums.
tocar la batería, que al igual esa
Maybe that person would not have come up to say hello to me or to
no
chat
te
with me
hubiera
if
venido
they
a
hadn't seen
saludar
me
o
play.
a comentarte algo si yo no hubiera estado tocando. Eso de
When you're inspired and you have talent, you've got to work hard whether you're blind or not, to define your own voice and to forge your very own musical personality.
Tener tu propia voz y para trabajarte tu personalidad en lo que a la música se refiere, ¿no?
They're two warm-hearted men who love to perform with others, because for them, music is synonymous with exchange, with sharing, and with friendship. Seeing music. And in Catalonia, drummer David Viñolas excels at multiple genres.
Soy ciego, tengo dos opciones.
I'm blind. I have two options. Either I cry about it and stay home, or I go out and jump into the water.
They're two warm-hearted guys whose deepest friendships are rooted in music. Blind or partially sighted, the musicians featured in this series are living out their musical dreams. Their stories are examples of hard work, dedication, and passion that let us all share in the wonder of truly seeing music. About 70 kilometers outside of Barcelona, in Catalonia, we find Vic, a charming town much visited by tourists, where modernity overlaps with a historic town which dates back to medieval times. The open door through which we're hearing that music is the front entrance of Jazz Cava. The spot, with its stone walls, has an undeniable charm. Here we meet the percussionist David Viñolas, a well-known figure on Catalonia's jazz scene, as well as the other members of his band, the Nuclei Trio.
David Viñolas.
My name is David Viñolas Frecher. I'm a drummer.
Probablemente
I think that I consider myself more of a performer than a composer.
Tengo
I've played in different bands. I play in a lot of different bands.
formaciones de sideman, digamos.
I might find myself playing the role of sideman, for example. I play on other people's recordings when they ask me. And I really dig everything to do with composition, you know? I like playing piano and I like composing stuff.
Yo empecé tocando punk con grupos locales del pueblo, con amigos.
I started playing punk with local bands in the village, with friends, with colleagues. And I was always listening to the Sex Pistols and to Poya records, nothing else. And then from there I began to study drumming and to explore different styles of playing. It's true enough that at my place, my folks listened to jazz and I dug it, but when you're an adolescent, you don't want to listen to the records your dad is listening to, right? So jazz came along, but it's not like I was going to say, so long punk, I'm about jazz now, that's it. For me, these things happen slowly. One thing leads to the next.
Paralelas, una cosa te lleva a la otra, ¿no?
Every month, the trio is invited to grace the stage of the Jazz Cava. Alex Forts is the bassist, and Guillem Plana plays the guitar. When the group was founded, their goal was to recapture the sound of the classical guitar trios who defined the 50s and 60s, all the while bringing in elements that were new and modern.
The Nuclei trio came together about 3 or 4 years ago, I think. We three knew each other already from having played together in other bands, stuff like that. And it came together when we met Guillen. One day I said to him, listen, I just bought a jazz guitar, a heavy sound, to try my hand at jazz with a classic jazz sound. So come on, let's get something together, we said to Alex. And that is how the Nuclei trio got its start, because we were seeking to recreate the classical sound. The fact of being able to see affects how you signal your bandmates. We're quite accustomed to relying on vision. The signal to start, to wrap up, we often make those with a look, eye contact with the drummer, and boom, here we go. Not with David. With David, you've got to play it exclusively by ear and go like that.
David and Guillem show us around the streets of the old town. As they've been good friends for over a decade, their mutual affection is evident.
David is a very serious and determined man. When he wants to do something, well, he pays close attention, he concentrates, he puts his head down and gets to it. He always pushes forward. He makes it look easy because he's such an incredibly resourceful person. I'm blind. I have two options. Either I cry about it and stay home, or I go out and jump into the water. What do I want to do with my life? Well, I've chosen to just go for it and to jump in the water.
In the little town of Centelles, not all that far from Barcelona, David lives with his wife Montserrat, who is visually impaired. The couple, who've been together for 20 years, invite us into their apartment. The cool thing is that we've got a kind of osmosis going on. By that I mean that he's a musician and that he shared with me the richness of his music and his interest in it. And from there, I became a musician through love. Over time, Montserrat has become a truly gifted saxophonist. She and David make a really good duo, with him accompanying her on the piano. I'm totally immersed in it. I play all the time. I always find time to play, and I play as much as I can, and I really love it. Music gives me so much, and I'm so grateful to it for that, seriously. But the main thing that I do, I'm a chef through and through, no doubt about it. Montserrat is such a good cook that she actually teaches cooking courses online without even leaving the house. I teach some cooking courses for people who lost their sight as adults, as well as for folks who just want to learn how to cook something new. We get together over Zoom, and even if they can't see me, because of course some of them can't see me, they can still follow the steps, ask me questions. I've always cooked a lot, and now I play music too. David, he always played music, and now he cooks. The couple travel a lot. You can discover the world by more than just sight. In Lisbon, Paris, Ireland, London.
Cuba, of course.
Cuba, true. Istanbul. We're just like any other travelers. The thing is that we can't see, and yet that really isn't much of a problem. It's just one aspect of our trips. People are baffled by the idea that two people with total visual impairments are going alone to Turkey, and even more baffled that we're able to get around. They just don't get it.
Sometimes it's not like it's an advantage to travel while blind, but sometimes really interesting things happen which probably wouldn't have if we could see.
Montserrat even enjoys taking photos of her trips.
Montserrat has put together a photo exhibit of all her trips.
You remember the smells, the feeling of the spaces you were in. The moment is fixed. Isn't that right? This is a way of fixing the moment in time. Seeing music, we'll be right back. Barcelona is a fantastic city which is bordered by both the ocean and mountains. It is filled with architectural marvels and a magnificent pedestrian avenue which is among the most famous in Europe. We find David in the company of Tony Pages, who is also a professional drummer. Great friends since childhood, the two men welcome us to their recording studio, La Fusteria.
Con David nos conocimos.
I've known David since his birth. We were born 5 years apart.
Siempre su relación
He always had a strong interest in music.
muy potente. Y
He's very
ha
persistent.
perseguido, muy insistentemente, ¿no? Y la música nos ha vinculado porque luego
Music brought us together because when we were growing up, I taught drumming, and he took some courses from me. We discuss all the technical parts of drumming.
y los encuentros que hemos
As we get older, it's more like an exchange. What do you think about that? Or how do you do this kind of routine?
Una de las cosas que me impresiona
One of the things that really impresses me is his openness when it comes to improvising on the drums. Another is his ability to adapt to different, more rigorous kinds of music, always staying on
a
tempo.
otras músicas que son más rigurosas de hacer esto y quedarse quieto.
David will always be grateful to the friend who helped him enter the wonderful world of music, an art form which has made him profoundly happy.
Hombre, la música no deja de ser un...
I'm a musician, but music is really a way of life, so being a musician is a way of life too. Music has helped me so much, and it really is its own kind of language. I think that it has this cohesive power which can help to knock down barriers in the right circumstances. Of that, I have no doubt.
Producers Orlando Arriagada, Daniela Mujica. Associate producer René Savoie. Series coordinator director Julien Cadieux. Screenwriter Louis-François Grenier. Director of photography Xavier Bossé, François Léger-Savard. Researchers Annie Pénélope Dussault, Raphaël Proux. Main editor Diego Rivera Con. Integrated described video consultant Ron Rickford. Development and production executive Andrew Morris. Produced by Pimiento Media's 2021.
Produced in association with AMI.